Multi-leader options. We've already explored multi-leaders a little bit, but now let's explore some of the options that we have when creating them. Again, you can find leaders in the annotation panel of the Home tab right here. We can go ahead and have leader, add leader, remove leader, align, collect. We can also find multi-leaders here in the Annotate tab under the Leaders panel. I'll go ahead and activate multi-leader. And I'll go ahead and see what the default is set to right now. It says specify leader arrowhead. I'll go ahead and do that by selecting here and clicking here. I'll go ahead and type some text. I'm going to highlight this text, make sure I put it to a height of 1, and press enter. And then I'll go ahead and click on close and close. And there you go. Now I can see the text. Let's see what some other options that we have. Multi-leader. And now I'm going to use this choice here, options, in the command line. Except I'm going to right click and bring up this context menu, and I'll choose options. And here you go. Leader type, leader landing, content type, max points, first angle, second angle, and exit options. Let's go ahead and see what leader type does. Right now it's set to straight, and that's the one we created first here. Let's go ahead and see what spline does. I'll click on that. I'll go ahead and exit options, pan over to the side a bit, and I'll go ahead and create another leader. Specify the first arrowhead. I'll go ahead and do this here. Pan out to the side or move to the side. And now as you can see, I no longer have that straight line as I had the first time. Let's go ahead and click here. I'll set the height to 1. Press enter to accept my value. And now I'll type some more text. And I'll go ahead and close out. Let's continue on and make one more leader. Activate the command, right click, go to options, and now let's see what leader landing is. Now this says, do I want one, yes or no? This time let's choose no. And let's go check our leader type, and let's change that back to straight. We'll go ahead and exit options, and we'll continue making our leader. I'll go ahead and click this coordinate point here, pull out to the side, and click here. I'll add more text once again. And as you can see, I have it as a height of 0.18. We'll learn how to change these settings again a little bit later. I'll go ahead and highlight this. Make sure that it's set to 1. Press enter. And go ahead and close out. And there you go. A third type of leader. I'm going to pan down to the bottom. I'll go ahead and activate leader again. I'll right click, go to options, and now we'll look at the content type. So far we've been using an M text. That's why we couldn't hit enter twice in order to exit. Let's go ahead and try block and see what that does. Enter block name. I'll just call this test. Press enter. And as you can see, it went ahead and got rid of that. Let's try it one more time. Type in test and press enter. And now we're back to where we started again. Well, what's happening here? If you come down to the command line, it says invalid input. Now, if you don't know the correct name of a block, you can't start the command. So if you're going to change this to a block type instead of an M text, then you need to know the name of the block that you're trying to create. We'll look at this a little bit later. But I just want you to see that in case you choose this option and you try to give it a name and you keep coming around to the same thing and it's not advancing, well, that's because we need to actually know the name and not create a name ourselves. So let's go ahead and hit escape to exit this. We'll go ahead and activate it one more time. Again, we'll go to options, We'll go to content type and change this back to an M text. Now this time let's explore max points. Right now it's set to 2, and those are the 2 points we've been using so far. We'll pan over to the side. We put 1 point, 2 points. So let's go ahead and pan back down. I'll click on the command line, hit 3 and enter, and now let's go ahead and create our spline. Well, not a spline this time, but let's do that. We'll click leader type, spline, and we'll go ahead and exit options. We'll go ahead and see if we can create one using 3 points and a spline. I'll click here, here, and as you can see, I'm waiting for my 3rd point. Let's put one just like this. Here. I'll go ahead and hit enter, enter, and as you can see, we're still in the M text. We'll backspace twice. I'll go ahead and highlight this one more time. Don't worry, I can go ahead and double click, still highlight the text, and change the height like I've been doing so far. 1 and enter. I'll go ahead and close, close out, and there you go. Let's explore the last few options. Multileader again, right click for options. And this time we will look at the first angle and the second angle. I'll select the first angle. Now I have to enter the constraint for the first angle. I'm going to put something small, like 15 degrees. And now press enter. I'm going to go to the second angle, and I'll put something very large, 75 degrees. Enter. Well, it didn't take my 75, so let's lower it a bit to 45. Enter. Let's go ahead and hit exit. Now let's create our leaders. I'll put a point here. As you can see, I'm incrementing in 15 degrees. I'll go ahead and point here. Add some text. Zoom in, so this time I can actually select the text, put it to 1, press enter, and go ahead and close out. Double click on the mouse wheel and put it all into view. So there you go. As you've seen, you can make different types of multileaders and create them pretty much on the fly. But don't worry if you make any mistakes along the way, because as you can see, they're pretty easy to fix and adjust. And they're very helpful in pointing out some specific points that you want in your design.